I Green Day di nuovo sulle scene con un nuovo album, Warning, dopo una lunga pausa di riflessione. Di passaggio a Milano accolti da una pioggia scrosciante, i punk rockers ci hanno parlato del loro ritorno.
We're actually here. We're actually back.
We're here in sunny Milano. Our whole life we've been on tour pretty much.
Yeah.
And so we take a minute off and people think we're gone, but we're actually somewhere else.
Sono passati 3 anni da Nimrod, l'ultimo studio album dei Green Day. Nel frattempo i ragazzi hanno appeso le chitarre al chiodo, preso una pausa dal punk rock e messo su famiglia.
We needed to go home and live some of real life and have, like, our local bar, our families, our friends, things like that to write songs about.
We've been a band for about 12 years, so it was just, and we've just never stopped ever since then. And I don't know, I think we did sort of need to put our guitars down and our drums down and just sort of step away from it for a while and just let the music live through us instead of us living through the music all the time.
Hey, mister, where you headed? Are you in a hurry?
The ringing in my ears stopped. So
Not me.
I could finally hear music again. That loud tour ring.
Need a freak as well.
Yeah, we wanted to meet our families. We'd never really met them actually. We wanted to see what it was like to live with our families. That was kind of nice.
Durante la pausa la band è tornata nella città d'origine, Auckland, dove ha allestito uno studio per registrare il nuovo disco. Nonostante l'incongruenza dell'immagine familiare con il punk, l'area di casa ha avuto profondi effetti benefici.
The familiar things around you that inspire you, you know. Try to stay in touch with that because we were on the road for Nimrod for about 14 months. You know, I mean, there's more to life than playing in a band sometimes. You know, so.
Like for example, a snake came inside my house, and if I would have been on tour, I would have never seen him.
Come molte band all'apice della loro carriera, i Green Day hanno sentito la necessità di staccare la spina per non farsi sopraffare dal successo.
Just gotta take a break every once in a while. Get yourself down to earth.
Take you over. So the smartest thing for us to do was just to stop. The smartest advice I could ever give to a band is to quit. We didn't quit.
We're researching our new album. We just waited for inspired moments to write songs.
L'ispirazione alla fine è arrivata dopo un anno di lavoro da cui sono uscite 12 tracks diverse per l'album Warning.
There's all kinds of different elements. I mean, I think we tried to, you know, there's the anger, hope, there's independence, just whatever makes a well-rounded record. 41 minutes long or something. It's, you know, 41 minutes of the year in the life of Green Day, pretty much.
Played all along. Billy would call and just say, "Hey, I got a song. You want to jam?" So we'd play, and the more songs that Billy come up with, the more we get together and work on them.
We would just get like 3 songs together and then just play them over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think a lot of these songs took the better part of a year to put together. I mean, Longview took well over a year to write. So, you know, and I think there was a couple songs that came pretty fast. It probably only took us a couple months to put together, whereas some of the other songs just took the better part of a year.
Non è un caso che Minority sia il primo singolo del nuovo album.
An anthem for individuality. Look inside yourself, figure out what it is that makes you you, and go be you.
It makes you kind of bounce a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
That song came pretty natural. Just I brought it into practice one day, and then we all worked it out together.
It took a little while to work it all out musically, but you know, musically we were so inspired by the lyrics that Billy had written that it kind of came together fairly quickly.
Per stabilire se Minority dovesse essere il primo singolo, i Green Day hanno chiesto il parere dei loro fans. È stato il pubblico infatti a decidere il pezzo più rappresentativo dell'album.
Give out some records and a couple radio stations play them here and there, and the people call in and see what they like.
People really wanted that song, and the radio just sort of jumped on it. And,
We weren't completely opposed to it.
After we finished writing the record, practicing the record, recording the record, producing the record, it's kind of like we got to kind of bounce it off some other people, you know, people that we trust their opinions, and ask our friends and, you know, people that we think they have a valid opinion.
No trying to make such a world around. Can't you know where I'll be found when I come around?
Tra i Green Day e il loro pubblico c'è sempre stata una relazione piuttosto speciale.
We're stupid, and you're dumb, so we had something in common. Right, so we can relate to the audience, you know.
They said it was
Compromising your musical intentions. I don't even know how to say that.
like Pantera.
I don't even know. All I know is they scream. This next song is a dedication. It's a dedication to this song is dedicated to that guy right there, jumping up and down. That guy, that's the one right there.
When I come around.
Play the songs live. Live is different because we feed off of the audience.
Take a back.
Our set lately has been sort of filled with a lot of requests from people in the audience, and it just kind of made it more fun because, you know, there's to watch people's eyes light up as we're playing them.
This song's called Jump.
Warning segna un nuovo capitolo nella carriera e nella storia discografica della band.
It just feels good to look back at our catalog and know that we've progressed and that we've kept going and that we've done it by our rules, our standards, and we haven't sacrificed, you know, what we love and what we want to do. We want to take time to go home, be with our families. We do that, make a great record, come back.
Il titolo del disco è in realtà un messaggio.
The title of the album is Warning, and it is named Warning because there's a song, which happens to be the first song, called Warning, which is a warning for warnings of the warning respect. Caution. You're taking away my rights! Attenzione. Be careful of what you're careful of. Rules are meant to be broken, and laws are meant to be disobeyed.
So tear the tag off of your pillow. Tear the tag off your mattress cover.
There's a salsa. There's a false sense of salsa. Warning, this man has a stick in his hand.
Warning, this record's gonna make you horny.
This record's infectious.
I Green Day hanno alle spalle una carriera di 12 anni ed un passato punk, molto punk, difficile da dimenticare.
Sorry, I think I broke my nose.
I'm an idiot. You can take the boys out of punk rock, but you can't take the punk rock out of the boys.
Una grossa fetta del loro pubblico è infatti nostalgica di quel periodo e il successo dell'album Dookie nel 94, con più di 10 milioni di copie vendute fino ad oggi, ha complicato le cose, accostando al punk ribelle l'etichetta della fama e del successo.
I don't give a about like all like fame and fortune and stuff like that.
I mean, I think we went through maybe a denial phase for a while where we were saying this is not going to change our lives. This is not going to change our lives. And we could never fully accept it, which was sort of a good thing at the same time.
Can you hear me? Why?
It sort of made me an angry person. I don't know. I felt like I was sort of living sort of a contradiction a lot because of, from the scene, coming from a punk rock scene, and then all of a sudden you're in one of the biggest bands in the world. You sort of lose focus of what your ethics are because you feel like you've it's turned into a contradiction.
Some call it slow, some call it night.
I mean, we've changed. We're honest with ourselves, and we accept that. You know, to the same extent, knowing that we changed, we also know where we come from, and we haven't forgotten anything of where we come from. And matter of fact, this record was recorded where we come from.
Yeah! The one thing that I've learned in the past, it's like you can do what you want and still hold on to your values. I mean, just because you happen to be in one of the biggest bands in the world doesn't mean that you know, I think that's makes it more of a place where it's even more important to hold on to them.
We're famous, but we don't really like celebrities. We don't really want to act like celebrities because I don't know. It's not where we come from.
Subito dopo Dookie è stata la volta di Insomniac nel 94 e Nimrod nel 97 a consolidare il successo della band, album un po' più duri nel sound.
We made Insomniac, which is a little different from Dookie.
A little bit.
A little bit harder.
I think we've just written from whatever our feelings were at the time. I mean, we were obviously in a pretty pissed off and exhausted phase in Insomniac, you know, and in Nimrod it was pretty transitional. I mean, we were looking forward to things, you know, and it was a bit of a journey, but there was kind of a light at the end of the tunnel on Nimrod, you know. Even though there was a lot of anger, there was also some of the most melodic and challenging, beautifully challenging songs we've ever done.
Having trouble trying to sleep. I'm counting sheep but running down. As time ticks by, still I try. No rest for crowd stops in my mind. On my own, here we go.
Nell'arco della loro carriera i Green Day sono cresciuti e così la loro musica, e spesso il processo di crescita è difficile da accettare da parte del pubblico.
I think people have really kind of watched us grow up. I mean, going from 16 years old on Lookout Records to going to now that we're 28 years old, you know, and a lot of things changed throughout that time. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm 16 forever, you know.
We're not at that point in our life anymore. I'm proud of everything that we've done, but we probably try not to stop and dwell on our past too much. We just kind of live for right here, right now, and try and make tomorrow a little better.
I hear a lot of bands that kind of say, yeah, well, you know, the great thing about being a rock band is that I get to be a kid for the rest of my life. And it's like, fuck that. I don't want to be a kid for the rest of my life. I think it's stupid. You know, I don't subscribe to that kind of crap where you're going to have some sort of eternal youth. I think you look older and dumber when you do act like you're 16. I mean, it's pretty pathetic watching these old men go up and, you know, are ready to have a cardiac arrest on stage.
Probably the most rock and roll record we've ever made, in terms of, like, you know, early American rock and roll. You know, I think it's a good thing.
Fucking rock and roll guy. I've always been. I love it. It's like I have a lot of bands that I love. You know, this is something I've always wanted to do with my life, is to be in a rock and roll band and play the guitar. I think it's, you know, the guitar epitomizes rebellion for me, you know, and that's what I do. It's my ultimate release.
Writing about whether we're a punk band or not, or labeling us as a punk band, really wouldn't know a punk band if it came up and kicked them in the butt. So, you know, they expect that that's what a punk band would do. I think, you know, one of the things that we love about punk rock is it has ethics, and it stands for or against something. And, you know, you're challenging yourself. There is no rules. And whatever that means to people, you know, we don't set any set of rules upon ourselves.
We've always had that element about us, you know, and it was just sort of, you know, I think we kind of stripped things down. If anything, we've made it, you know, just didn't hide behind a bunch of Marshall amps and just wouldn't, you know, play rock and roll.
When you feel worse, you feel watch up like this going down the drain.
Il live resta la dimensione migliore per esprimere lo spirito rock. I Green Day provano molto per essere preparati sia sul palco che in studio.
We like to practice every song like 2 or 3 million times before we hit the studio, so that it's familiar with us, as if almost like we toured it and played it live.
We don't want to have any doubts when we go into the studio. We're not a band that likes to write music in the studio. I think that's...
The song has to be like a Green Day song, you know, performable, and
we will sell no wine until it's time.
Yes.
To make the record, to actually get in, when we got into the studio, I mean, it was only about, we were like for about 2.5 months total. So, I mean, because we knew what we wanted to do, like, before we even got into the studio. So, I mean, we just basically went in there and utilized our time very swiftly and wisely. We just wanted to know exactly what we wanted to do when we went in, and we got in, and we, you know, ended up cranking it out. And we did it in our hometown in Oakland, California, which was really important. We had a studio rebuilt for us.
I think you can really hear where we come from in this record.
Luscious Oakland, California.
It's a very multicultural area, you know, and it's, for us to stop and take a look at the world in our area around us was really helpful, musically and lyrically for Billy, everything.
There's different overtones to it. I mean, there's things that are sort of socio-political, socio-pathological. There's
Sack of potatoes.
Sack of potatoes. There's
Sacagawea.
I don't know. It's all kinds of stuff. I mean, we could go down the line of what all the songs are about. But you know, I mean, if someone wants something answered, they would listen to the record. Really, I mean, because each song, I think, individually has its own statement.
We haven't said or thought about this record. Now it's just we've given birth to another child. Here you go. What are you going to do with that child?
I prossimi progetti dei Green Day?
We'll probably tour Europe first before we do the States, and then, but you know, be strategic about it, because we have a lot of responsibility and stuff at home that, you know, I mean, we don't want to run ourselves ragged, you know, like we've done in the past, and to stay sane is pretty important nowadays for us.
E in vista anche dei progetti solisti.
Billy's going to conduct the Philharmonic Orchestra. Boy, they're in big trouble. Okay, stick that horn up your ass and blow.
I wanna be the minority. I don't need your authority. Down with the moral majority. 'Cause I wanna be the minority. I pledge allegiance to the underworld. One nation under darkness.